Hey guys, Larry the Tractor Guy here. Real quick, I want to show you a little bit of an issue that I ran into on a transmission. I've got a transmission out of a 7200R here, and we removed the front valve off of the transmission cover here. As you can see, we've got the transmission disassembled here on the table. But what I wanted to show you was, so during disassembly, these little 6mm bolts here that bolts this valve housing on the front of this front housing. Pretty small bolt. They use a pretty good fair amount of Loctite on those bolts, as you can see. And so two of those bolts, we could not get those bolts out of the housing. And so essentially what happened was we broke a bolt off here. Okay, and we broke a bolt off here. Okay, so I'm going to show you a quick trick on how to extract those bolts without trying to drill through that bolt and extract it with an ease-out. Okay, so we're going to try to weld a nut on that bolt, and during that weld process, it will actually help melt some of that Loctite around the threads of that bolt that's left in there, and then we're going to go ahead and extract that bolt. But before I do that, I'm going to tape this valve body off so we don't get any welding debris down into our transmission pump here and in any of the ports inside of the valve. Okay, so stay tuned and we're going to show you how that works. So we just used some regular masking tape. As you can see, went ahead and taped our valve off to protect from getting any welding debris down into the valve body. Okay, so I just made a little cutout here and cut out here where the two broken bolts are. Okay, so I'm going to try to find a couple of good, probably like a flanged headed nut that will fit just slightly larger than that 6mm bolt. Okay, and then we're going to use a MIG welder to weld the nut and try to get a good stick to that bolt. This one's going to be a little bit harder because it's a little bit recessed down in the housing the way that it broke off. Okay, but we're going to try to get a weld on those and get them hot enough to melt a little bit of that Loctite, okay, so that they will screw out of there. I found a couple of nuts, flanged head nuts here that work really well for welding that up, and we'll weld that, get a little heat on it, let it set just a little bit, and see if we can extract those bolts. I want to get Corey here to weld that for me because he's a much better welder than I am, and it's pretty tedious when you're using a MIG welder to get a good stick on that broken bolt and then get it to stick to that nut. Welded a nut to those two broken studs, and as you can see, we screwed them out of there fairly easy. We had to do this one a second time because it was the one that was recessed down in the housing, and so just remember that that is an option. If you got a couple of broken bolts in an aluminum housing, that you could use that trick to extract those bolts. And I want to thank Corey for helping me out here. If you're not a good welder like me, go find you a good welder that can do that, and you can save a guy a lot of money by doing that. So just a tech tip of the day from Larry the Tractor Guy, signing out. Hey guys, check out Larry the Tractor Guy videos here, other videos here, subscribe here, and buy all your John Deere parts here.
We'll make it work. I think
we're gonna have to make it.
We'll make it work. Come on, let's go.
We need to make
you need some food.
Y'all already burned me out.
Some bloopers.
He's sitting in the sun over here, man.